the word genocide have been spoken about over and over and over again by experts across the world, humanitarian groups, you name it, wherever. When we think immediately of genocide, most people tend to think Rwanda, the Rwandan genocide. Charles, Israel was particularly involved in that genocide, weren't they, as a country?
Well, I think just like our Palestinian colleague had just said, what is happening in Israel, what is happening in Gaza today is an exemplary of a totally an entity, because I do not, as a person, consider Israel as a state under the international law. Israel has become a recalcitrant entity. In my view, it has become a murderous entity, because even within the context of its current murderous operation in Gaza, the United Nations has managed to pass some few resolutions asking for humanitarian pause, asking for a ceasefire, and Israel has continued with its murderous rampage, killing women, killing children. There is no conflict in recent times where such number of women and children have been murdered in such a short period of time. And Israel is not alone in this crime. Its enablers, United States, the European Union, and even some Arab countries, I could say, are complicit by their silence in the way Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. I am aware that when the apartheid racist regime in South Africa was doing things similar to this, but not even close to it, African countries did not sit by and pass resolutions. African countries deployed forces to decisively intervene. Nigeria was considered a frontline state because of its engagement with the struggle against apartheid. I am less worried by the enablers of Israel than the complicity of the Arab states. Up to today, the Arab League is passing a resolution of condemnation. Israel is not a normal state that is perturbed by condemnation. Israel is not a normal state that is perturbed by the appeal to reason. Israel is not a normal state that is perturbed by an appeal to international law. Israel is a narcissist Palestinian entity that is not bothered by either international law or world public opinion. I expect the Arab states to decisively intervene. The chief of staffs, the chief of army staff of Arab countries should have been meeting, drawing up a plan to intervene and stop the carnage and murder in Gaza. I am much more ashamed of the Arab states than angered by the complicity of the West that enables Israel in its murderous adventure in Gaza.
Thank you.
I was just reading recently, Moshe Dayan. Moshe Dayan said that the day he will find Arabs queuing orderly in a motor park, he will fear for the end of Israel. So I think the biggest problem for Palestine is Arab unity. The Arab states being unable to find a common cause to stop this murderous entity that exists within them. I do not think that appeals to international law, appeals of public opinion, demonstration has Israel can turn back. Israel. So I think that what the world needs to do is to decisively stop Israel and not passing resolution, because Israel is not a normal state that responds to such appeals. For the Palestinians.
Yeah, I'll just let you finish that sentence. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, finish that
for
sentence.
For the Palestinians, and for the Israel illusionary target of destroying Hamas, it can as well say we want to destroy the last of the Palestinian people, because Hamas has come to embody the aspiration of the Palestinian people after several years of being considered a frontline national liberation movement. The PLO became corrupt, become complacent, become inefficient, become less of a frontline champion of the aspiration of the Palestinian people. No matter how the world sees, of course. I also join the rest of the world in condemning what the Hamas did, especially with regards to civilians. But at the same time, we cannot rule out the provocation of those who chose to live in occupied state, in those settlements. Those settlements are legitimate Palestinian homeland, and they have right to exercise sovereignty over these areas. But let us be very honest, the Palestinians get murdered on routine basis. Is it because the Palestinians are murdered on routine basis that their deaths and their murdering and their killing no longer matters? And let me be very clear, Israel is not fighting because 1,400 Israelis were killed. Israel is fighting because Hamas has once and for all destroyed its myth of invisibility, its myth of military impregnability, its myth of infallibility. It parades itself as having the most sophisticated intelligence service in the world. It parades itself as having the most defensive, the most capable military. And of course, Hamas dispelled those myths. I think Israel, in its current grand fury, in its current murderous fury, is simply angered by the fact that for the first time and for the last, its myth of invisibility has been completely eliminated by Hamas' audacious attack. I do not justify the death of civilians anywhere. Civilians, of course, what the Israelis are doing in Gaza today is strictly murdering civilians, because Israel cannot give us an account of any single Hamas fighter they have killed in the past 2 months. We can only see women and children, elderly, and aid workers, humanitarian workers being mowed down on a daily basis.